Listen, Joe is the kind of guy who, when you're on your 4th, 5th kid, on any given Wednesday, he'll just pop in and be like, hey, I got pizzas for everybody. Sad to see him go.
Look, I got watermelon pizza.
It's soupy. Welcome to another brand spanking new episode of Another Bachelor Podcast. My name's Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
What's going on, everybody?
And then the guy over there behind the what is it, the glass?
It's the glass.
The glass over there is Patrick, the guy that produces the podcast.
Hi, guys. I am excited for the show. I'm a new me.
The season has kicked off. We are so excited to be embarking on a journey with you guys throughout this entire season. Let's get into it. We start out with tears. A single drop falls from Becca's nose, and we flash back. And seeing that flashback, I hadn't seen it in a while. It was brutal, and it just reminded me that I know it's a TV show, but what he did to her was absolutely atrocious. It was horrific.
I don't know a woman on earth that would flip through photos of her ex when she gets dumped for the other girl.
It is.
She would light them on fire. The next day, she'd throw them in the garbage, or like I've seen. Actually, I showed up at a house one day to pick up my shit, and a fucking black marker was went right over my face on the photo, scratched out like I never existed.
This has gone on far too long.
I think, in summation, I think Becca's actions are not those of someone who is going to be getting engaged in 3 months. Is what he was trying to say.
We go to Minnesota. The lady with the crazy hair says that there's people that are better suited for you out there.
Did we get an explanation of, is that her sister? Just her sister?
Yeah, I think it was her sister. I mean, what a head of hair. And also, can I just say, the furniture in this place, I mean, they're just it's disgusting furniture.
Nick, to answer your question, that was the bass player from Great White.
Why are you laughing? You have no idea what Great White is.
Because I'm assuming it's an 80s hair metal band.
Yeah, but like...
And I had in my notes, and they were few, that this girl looked like Jack Black if he played a role where he played an 80s hair metal person.
Super mean. Let's get into the ladies who come to see her. We've got JoJo, the greatest bachelorette of all time, Rachel, the worst bachelorette of all time, and Caitlin, who is arguably the best bachelorette of all time. She doesn't say much, literally like not a word. In her interviews, she says stuff, but don't hear a lot from her. Does she have a pill problem?
Oh, wait, JoJo or Caitlin?
Caitlin.
I think she has a drinking problem. She was sipping on that mimosa more than anybody in that group. JoJo, Rachel, Caitlin, all she did, I don't think she said anything. She just
said,
laughed.
like, what are we doing with this sage? Lighting a big doobie, and she's just hilarious.
Hey, I'm going to post her. Hey, Dill, can I jump in here?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll probably get in a lot of trouble. Our team here at Another Bachelor Podcast reached out to her team to try and get Caitlin. I guess Caitlin is known as
Wow, really pulling back the curtain here.
I'm going to do it.
Wow, lights and mics.
Caitlin is known as the every girl Bachelorette. We'll post her rider for if you want her to show up for a gig.
You're not going to do that.
Yes, we are.
That sounds,
can we? I didn't even know.
That sounds extremely illegal.
No, it's not.
Let's just talk about it. Tell me what's on it. I need to know.
Oh, well, if you want Caitlin to show up to something you're doing, it's $60,000, and then she'll give you 2 posts and 2 Instagram stories, whatever the hell those are, for an extra 10 grand.
He has no idea.
I love the progression of this relationship.
But no. But if you want that husband that she has on a leash to show up, that's an extra 20. I'll post the rider. It's wonderful. You're everyday girl. Caitlin, your everyday girl. Let's smoke a doobie and collect 60 grand.
Okay, Pat. I think you're just getting hustled, and you haven't talked the price down yet.
She does have a strong army of women behind her in her Facebook group, which
Yeah.
I have been removed from.
Moving on. They do some of that witchcraft, and we get to see right between that gap in Rachel's teeth into her true soul. She's talking like a hoodlum. She lights that thing up, and she goes, "I'm going to sage your pussy."
Yeah, that was off-putting, to say the least.
Out of nowhere.
I'm gonna say it's your.
Let me just say this. That Rachel has too much juice still. Like,
Yeah.
everything that she says, she thinks she's like gospel. Like, all
Right.
her advice is, ooh, no pun intended, is sage.
Let's get into the guys, huh? As with every premiere, we get a couple featurettes on some select individuals. First guy up is Clay.
I was skeptical of his NFL career, but I looked him up. He has played for 7 seasons and actually has 1,000 receiving yards.
Just a humble, really nice guy.
Very nice guy. I'm a little suspect. He has like his voice is a little trembly. Too much tremble in that voice for a guy who's been playing on 4 teams, been in the NFL that long. Like, girls show up in hotel rooms or hotel lobbies to try and sleep with these guys. This guy should have established some game for as long as he's been in the league. I'm very concerned about him.
This could be one of two things. So you're concerned that he's too nice or that he's a homosexual. Which one is it,
Dylan,
Pat?
you know me, man. Like, you know me like the back of my hand. Yes, I am questioning his sexuality.
Okay. Wow. That's a hot take right out of the gate because that has implications in professional athletics as well. Huge story.
To be fair, he's out of the league.
He had to be kicking himself once Michael Orr came out.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick, I'm glad you brought that up. I either thought he was gay, a complete pussy, or played a position that no one cared about, which was kind of emasculating. Like, he's the guy who holds the football while the guy kicks it. Or he's a guy who's on a sideline that never actually got to play and everyone made fun of him.
Yeah, totally. Next up is Garrett. This guy's a gold medal ribbon competitor. He's going to be at hometowns. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Hi, I'm Garrett, and I was built in a lab to be a staple of Bachelor Nation for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. You're 100% right. And this was Nick Studd. If you listen to the premiere, what we call the episode?
Our preview episode?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I rang that bell the second I saw him, just pretty much solely off the Dumb and Dumber reference. But this shows you what an indication of character liking Dumb and Dumber is. Cause
Yeah, I agree.
I have yet to find a flaw. I don't know. Patrick seems skeptical.
Yeah.
You agree.
Well, he said that he had toilet humor last week.
I like the guy. He's from Reno. He's doing. I like him so far.
Spot on Farley impression.
My name's Garrett, and I'm 29 years old. I live in Reno, Nevada. I love going up to Lake Tahoe, and I am sure pleased to be on The Bachelorette and meet Becca. Is that pretty good?
Now, we are going to lock in our picks tonight, as we mentioned in the preview episode.
We drafting?
Now, see, I wanted to talk to you about this. The draft, I mean, we've seen in the analytics just a complete drop-off because people don't want to listen to us try to figure out how a snake draft works.
And put names to faces when we're...
It's just not going to work. So I say we all just pick our number one guy and move on for the sake of our baby birds.
Love it.
Yeah, Garrett, Nick's pick, and I think it's a great one. Up next is the narratively driven character, the one that gets a lot of help from production, and that is Jordan. A lot of problems here.
Did you ever think that maybe there's more to life than being really, really, really ridiculously good looking?
Spot on reference, Pat.
We didn't talk about that. Pat just pulled that out of his brain.
Yeah. But someone mentioned it.
Yeah, but we were all on the same page. I mean, it's crazy that he almost says that exact line, but just in real life.
Can I say something, though? I'll give a guy who's really, really, really ridiculously good looking his due.
Right.
This guy has a baby face a day's long. He is not that good looking. Well, his hair is on point. There's hairspray involved. This guy is not that good looking.
We got to talk about hair later on in this episode. His hair is not on point. We'll talk about hair later. It was rough because I don't think that this man uttered a word or made a facial expression that wasn't absolutely repulsive. The entire thing was, I'm looking at a disgusting human being right now. And also, can I say, if you call yourself a professional model, there will be more than one person at your shoot. The photographer will not also be doing the lighting. It just won't happen if you're a professional model.
I agree, Dylan. Yeah, if there's only one person, and no catering, if there's not chopped up apples or some nuts or like you show up to a shoot.
A fluffer.
Lincoln. We don't need to talk.
I don't like him.
We don't need to talk a lot about this guy, but I do want to know if that was his house because he seemed to be living like.
Never trust a Nigerian. Never trust a Nigerian. Look, this is the guy who calls from a number you don't recognize, and your grandmother answers, and he is trying to weasel his way into her, get her social security.
Her pocketbook.
Oftentimes, email will be his mode of trickery.
Right. And he claims that he's royal or something. But I'll tell you what, if you were to go after Pat's Grammy's pocketbook, you know the only thing you would find in there? Smut. Smut and frickin' sewing sticks, whatever you call those things. Okay. Joe the Grocer seems like a phenomenal human being. Salt of the earth guy. Don't want to get into spoilies, but really, really sad that he goes home tonight because I feel like we could have gotten a lot of it.
If she was really here for the right reasons, she would have kept that guy around for a little while.
Right.
Not Jordan.
He just looks so much smaller than the rest of the guys. I really feel like
Jordan.
I feel like this plays such a factor. Like Lee didn't have a chance. Being around all these fucking statues.
You can't. There's Adonises all over the place. Mm-hmm. You can't be under 5'7". Jean Bloch says that cologne is the extension of the soul, which was an insane thing to hear a human being say. Anything on him, or can we get to Colton?
Just that I hate him. I hate him so much.
Colton, very rough outfit, wearing a strange patterned zip-up, and he's got this look where it's like almost all the way down, which, I mean... he could be a trendsetter. He could be a buffoon. I'm going to go with the latter. I'm a little concerned that I picked this guy as my stud.
No, he always looks like he got dressed in the dark. He has like nice pieces of clothing, but they never look right together.
Yeah.
He is all on paper. He seems like he should be okay, but he seems to fuck it up for himself somehow.
He started a national charity for children who are drowning above water with cystic fibrosis. But I got to get to my concerns later with Colton, though. Let's get to limos. But before we do, let's hear a word from our sponsors. Today's episode is brought to you by Leo's Volunteer Fire Removal. Hey, have you ever stared down a fire ablaze in your own home or business and thought, what in God's name do I do about this? You could call 911, but that's for the police. And if you're lucky enough to get a hold of the elusive fire department, not only will you be looking at merciless flames in your kitchen, but you'll also be staring down those notoriously long fire department wait times. With Leo's Volunteer Fire Removal, it's easy to keep your home or business from being burnt to a crisp. Just call us at 1-800-NO-FIRE. That's no with 2 O's, and we'll be there in around 30 minutes guaranteed. But what's the catch? There is none. We'll remove your fire free of charge. All we need is your hose and as many buckets as you can spare. So if your home's heating up because of a flame, you know who to call. Leo's Volunteer Fire.
Hey guys, if you want to meet me in person, I will be in San Francisco on June 2nd at Cobb's Comedy Club. Dylan was supposed to come up. Nick, you're invited if you want to come. I will be with Stephanie Wilde-Taylor and Lynette Carolla doing a live show for Crying Out Loud live at Cobb's at 8 p.m. there. If you come to me, if you see me at the venue, and you throw me out the phrase that pays, I will buy your drink.
Gotta ask, What's the phrase that pays?
Nick sucks on the show.
That hurts. But yeah, sounds like a blast. I'll have to check my schedule.
Back to Colton. Gets out of the limo. I thought he had a pretty strong opening.
I'd have to disagree. I feel
Whoa.
like those cannons that spray that confetti, like that's just
What could be bad about that?
It's the most reductive fun there. We're gonna throw out these confetti. Like, have fun with your thoughts. I don't know. Sign of an uncreative person in my mind.
Very harsh on Colton right now. Very harsh.
He's humorless.
Maybe you're a little anti because he's my number one pick, and I'm a little scared about this. I thought he was a shoo-in when we saw the intros, but this episode has raised a little bit of concern. But I thought she was smitten by him. So, anyways,
yeah, I was definitely only referring to my personal opinion of him so far. I definitely think he's caught her eye a little bit so far.
Yes. Pat, you want to talk about Jean Blanc?
Jean Blanc. By the way, guys, we have not been keeping a tally on how many times that the phrase "let's do the damn thing" has been uttered, which I have now made an acronym, which is LDTDT.
LDTTT?
Mm-hmm. So when Jean Blanc answers or shows up, he enters with number 3, and by the time he leaves, there's 5 on the board. So that means we'll get to this later, but the culling is calling you.
Connor. This is the kind of man who is kind of having a renaissance right now. There's a specific type of bro who is extremely well versed in fashion and likes to look how Connor looks. They're the loafers with no socks. It's the perfectly coiffed hair. It just is. It's too much, and it seems like every single one of these guys is cut from that cloth.
Well, to be fair, he's a fitness coach, at least labeled on his occupation on the screen. By the way, he gave us number 5 with the LDT.
Yeah. I have to... Just one thing you said, the good fashion. They try to have good fashion, but I'm kind of in Jordan's camp, how this was not the occasion for no socks with those loafers.
Nor was it the occasion for anything that Jordan was wearing.
This is a moment. You're meeting what could be your wife for the first time.
Listen.
Dressed to the nines, put some goddamn socks on.
I agree. Not with everything. Always a proponent of socks because I hate my feet. But...
As you do the rest of your body.
As I do the rest of my body. Listen, I'm not one to speak on this. I'm in a pajama shirt right now, jeans that I haven't washed in a month and a half. But what is up with these ties? These big, thick knots? It's gross. I don't like Jordan's style. I don't like his suit. And let's talk about him.
I think we spent a lot of time on him so far, haven't we?
Yeah, but he comes out of the limo and utters, like a serial killer, I didn't think that was the color that you were going to be wearing tonight. What?
How dare he? How dare he show up? The goal to get out of that limo. This guy, he's obviously gay. I'm sorry to say.
You are really, really beating this drum.
I'm sorry to say, but he absolutely is. He spends all his time in that house talking with those guys about their suits and what works and what doesn't.
Salt? He had to do a salt peel every week or something like that? I didn't even know what he was talking about. He said that like the way that he was going to dress was going to separate him from the pack. In what way? You're wearing a suit. Everyone else is wearing a suit.
It was gray, you idiot.
Okay, so let's talk about somebody who does not stand out at all, much like Jordan, the Asian fella. Now,
I kind of thought he stuck out like a sore thumb.
No. It's a good point.
But hey, you called it in our preview episode.
I knew this guy was rich. I knew it from the second I saw him. Went to Colombia, lives in San Francisco. He said that he built the app for Venmo. If Becca was smart, she would promise him right now that she would marry him, go through the proceedings, and pick him in the end. Because, I mean...
But I wonder when he says he built the the app for Venmo, did he really get like that much? Does he have any back end money on there, or was he just working as a software engineer to build the app for them, just getting paid a software engineer salary, which is handsome? I would take it, but
now if you are to take him at his word, and I don't think that he might pathologically massage the truth here, but he seems like a pretty humble dude. He seemed like he was telling the truth. In my world, in the way that I see the Silicon Valleys, everybody just gets paid in stock.
Yeah,
everybody gets paid in shares.
He's got Venmo.
You got
stocks.
shares in Venmo? Come on. And also, if he was just a mere developer, he's still probably got hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's too much time on this guy. Do we have anything to say about Leo?
I have a lot of thoughts on Leo. Leo is all about his hair. He starts in a ponytail, and then he unleashes that hair on her. That was the guy, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That is a complete narcissist. He's a stuntman, and we've agreed that he is in Waterworld. Mm-hmm. He's the guy who drives the plane that hits the water.
The incredible stage show at Universal.
Can I say the sad thing about living in L.A.? That hair and his beard that he dyes, obviously.
Pretty ubiquitous.
His skin is dyed as well. That always knows. I always know that's a tell. You always know when a guy dyes his beard and his skin is dyed.
Imagine walking through life the way that Patrick sees it. Like he can, like Rain Man could just see the way the world worked, and Pat can just easily see all the cosmetic improvements that other men make.
This guy's complete douchebag. Sadly, I want to speak to our audience, which I know, I love all our audience. I know they're everywhere in the United States, some in Australia, some in India. This guy closes ass, unfortunately, in LA. There are 24-year-old girls that have sex with this guy at a bar that fall into this trap. Hey, Dylan, I know you're a guy who reads history. Who is Who is that guy that has hair that gives him power? Samson. That is what this guy is feeding off of. This motherfucker, this piece of shit. He's a scumbag. If this guy showed up at my house and I had a daughter, which I don't yet, I'd kick this guy the fuck out.
God help your future daughter.
Will Becca be his Delilah?
I would say that another thing he has going against him is his yucky personality. He's very, very cynical. He's too cynical. He's like... standing here with all these highway patrol officers. I don't know what's going to happen.
He doesn't like competition. He's used to closing ass on his own.
You're going to be sent home in due time. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Speaking of Patrick's ability to spot cosmetic improvements, I've seen this man shout out calf implants from 700 yards away. He's like a goddamn eagle.
Yeah. He's like that famed Finnish sniper. Yeah, so let's get on to Blake, who brings out too many animals. The horse thing live was a disaster. This time he brought out an ox.
And you were skeptical.
I shouted immediately, like I knew. That's no ox!
It did seem smaller than what I used to shoot in Oregon Trail.
Yeah. So, listen, if you're curious about this, a bull and an ox are strikingly similar animals. Saved you Google. Let's get into Chase,
who uses his own name in a pun.
Right.
It really pissed me off.
Yeah. That was not a good move. And I hated this guy. He was my dud in the preview episode. I got more sympathy as we went along with him because at the end of the day, he's just a dummy who got buried in this episode. Now, my favorite performance of the night, absolutely mind-blowing, was the Polish bad boy, Kamil, or whatever his name is. The guy who tried to establish dominance the second he got out of the limo.
That guy's been reading too much pickup theory. He's like trying to trying to neg her. No, you come to me.
Hey, bitch, come here.
No, you go home.
No, I agree. He definitely read the game. He's right up there, and I've mentioned this on the. There was a time when I was going out to bars trying to get some ass, and there were guys with blinky lights on their necklaces. This guy comes from that same school where you look at a girl and you give her orders, like, come here, and she will follow direction.
Like when we were watching the show outside, and your lovely wife Cherie started talking, just like kind of making a joke, and you said, "Hey, what is this? The Cherie show?"
And I thought some of her commentary
Can I just say,
to be very, very biting and witty.
I love watching with Cherie so much.
She's funnier than all of us.
She's funnier
assholes.
than every single one of us. We hear some tires squeaking. That's the word, right? Squeaking. Yeah. The horns are honking.
I love that character in Saved by the Bell.
Yeah,
Skreek.
Garrett, the front runner of this competition so far, gets out of a minivan, and really intense right out of the gate, like diapers, soccer ball, but it worked.
I agree. Intense. For the wrong guy, this comes off as too much, too fast, creepy. But he has such a fun, affable, Chris Farley-esque nature that he nailed it, and she's smitten.
If that sleazeball Cuban like Chris guy would have tried this, it would have been a disaster.
And I want this to be noted early on. That minivan may have been a trap.
Very metaphoric. I like it.
Guys, the night has almost begun. Trent gets out of the car. I don't know why we have to talk about him, but he gets out of the hearse and says, "I literally died," which made my blood boil. I don't know about you guys.
Oh,
the realtor. Never trust a realtor.
Too creepy.
Look,
it was really spooky.
I don't want to alienate our audience, but can I say something about realtors? It's the only profession where you don't have to graduate high school. You could have been a drug addict, and you can like wake up one morning and be successful at. The realtor biz is a very scary occupation to me.
Yeah, I mean, our alien guy himself. It's part of that shady operation they call realty, selling houses. Okay, hey, before we get into the last guy, we cut to the house, and Jordan's having a conversation with the guys, and where he says that fashion is pretty much about knowing what to wear at any given moment.
I would dare to say that's exactly what fashion
means. It's
means.
Exactly what fashion is, knowing what to wear. Speaking of fashion, Chris steps out of the limo. He looks like he runs a book. I don't like the guy at all. He's got like a magician's shirt on, and he's got a red velvet. Not a red velvet. He's got... I'm hungry for cupcakes. He's got a velvet suit on. And slick back hair. I don't like him one bit. This is the guy who brought out the choir.
Which, a move I loved. My affinity for anything that's got kind of a choir, upbeat, hip-hop feel to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why you love gospelchops.com. That's why you love... what's that? The movie with Whoopi Goldberg?
Sister Act?
The Sister Act 2 is the best one, I've been told.
I agree.
But nonetheless, he does bring out a choir, and Jordan's mind is blown because it looks like a little optical illusion how he fits so many people in that their limo. A little bit too much time on these limo exits. Bunch of these bozos are going to be gone very, very soon. I think it's my fault for spending too much time on these guys. Let's move on and get into the house where all the drama happens. The night begins. Cocktails are being poured, no more than 2 per hour. I do want to amend, we should have a little segment in the show where we just correct all the errors we made in the past episode.
I had that written down as a segment. Corrections. Sure.
Yeah, corrections. Like minds, think like geniuses. Pat said 2 drink minimum per hour, which was
maximum,
not the correct thing. But anyways, the drinks are flowing and the drama begins. Connor takes her like a sneaky swiper. Very sly move from him. And I mean, he's just doing great right out of the gate. Sabering champagne, drinking it straight from the fresh cut glass. Doesn't even care. Shows that he's dangerous. He's a risk taker.
One thing I didn't like, but maybe this was a good use of negging. He popped the champagne for her, and then he drank the bottle first without pouring her glass.
He pretended to take a sip, and it never touched his lips, if you watch close.
Ooh.
I don't think that's right.
It's 100%. My wife was watching it with us, and she was like, what a dick. Oh.
Cherie didn't say that, because we bonded over the fact that we thought that was a shitty move and telling.
Listeners, hit us up on Facebook. I know better.
Please do. Chris Tan? What's his name? It's not Christian. I don't know what it is.
It's Christane, I think.
Christane.
The black guy.
Harlem Globetrotter.
Globetrotters.
Did a fairly impressive dunk over her. But as you said, that rim was very forgiving.
I mean, that doesn't take away from the dunk. It takes away from a jump shot that was later made by some chotch
No,
Rob.
I wasn't.
It was still 10 feet. Still 10 feet, boys.
I think I could do that.
That is a famous quote from Hoosiers.
Gene Hackman.
Jimmy Chitwood. Don't know his actor name.
Let's get into Blake.
Hey, gentlemen, before we move on about the Chris Dane, Harlem Globetrotter guy. I looked it up because I did a little digging.
Nice.
Average salary on the road, 36 weeks of the year, $61,000.
You know what? They have a fun time.
Yeah. They warm the hearts of,
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't even say tens of thousands of people.
Nah, I used to watch it. It's really depressing. You'd see them play like the arena that my basketball team would play for, like, like the Celtics. It'd be like an eighth full. Really sad. Them dribbling that ball on their index finger.
I mean, I doubt one of them is from Harlem, so it's kind of lost its luster.
misnomer. Yeah.
I want to say the company's going down the shit bowl too, because I actually looked up some of the people in the high levels.
Yeah.
CEO only pays himself $139,000.
Well, that's what all CEOs should be paying themselves, as far as I'm concerned.
You traitor.
I just snorted. Let's talk about Blake. This is the first conversation that is just way too intense about love between two people who don't know each other at all. Yeah, this is the guy that's way committed to the process and truly thinks that he can find love, which is bothersome. Something we probably should have mentioned, a big a yellow thing that got out of the limos. David is flopping around in these little chats. I gotta say, David is continuing the trend of strong candidates that come out in outrageous costumes over the years.
But this time, I think he's actually got a chance. Usually, the strong contenders have just been people who are going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. She seemed like she really liked his vibe, and he's a real contender.
He was having fun with it. He didn't actually. You know what? What was? I don't remember. Did he have a line or anything why he was in a chicken costume?
He went from
Rebecca!
You know very well. You know very well.
He stole
because
that from
while
me.
we were watching, you said he must have stolen that from me.
That's true. Although I did like it. They didn't spend a lot of time on him talking to Becca, but they were like dancing together at some point. It seemed like he was being cool with it. And he didn't bother take the costume off for a while. Which is kind of cool. Although for guys, I think it's a little easier to keep the costume on than it would be to be in a dolphin suit.
For sure.
Alexis did last season.
You got to show off that body, Alexis.
Exactly. I'm going to give this guy some credit on that. And he is I give him a 7 as far as looks as a guy once the costume was off, but there we go. Sorry.
There's certainly a limit to the cuteness of the suit. If he has this on week 4, I think we got to start.
You think the limit's week 4, huh?
I just wanted to make a clear line.
Right.
Because, I mean, it could get gray week 2. Oh, my God, he did it again. Week 3, really? Week 4, all right, man.
Right. Any redemptive qualities.
But if he pushes through that, he gets to week 6, 7, it starts to be funny again.
When Becca walks into the house after everyone that's gotten out of the limousine is done, and she talks to Chris Harrison, she walks into the house to address the boys, and what she says, which I think is insane, she says, "I've met all of you, and I have to say, my husband is here." Is that not insane?
How do you know that? How do you freaking know that? Did you go to a soothsayer? Did they say that your husband, you'll meet him in a chicken costume? No. I doubt that happened. Soothsayers are hardly ever that accurate.
I guess if you're just committed to marrying someone, whether you're going to love them or not, she can guarantee her husband's in that room.
Do the guy from Silicon Valley, and by do I mean marry him. Anyways, we have to get on to the most dramatic moment of the night. Chris, sleazeball fuckface Chris, brings not all, just 2 guys out, Blake and some other schmo, and he's his heart's heavy. He's got a text saying that this guy Chase, he's not here for the right reasons.
A very, very vague text.
And he proceeds to say that this guy's probably just wants to increase his cachet. He probably just wants to get more popular. Chris, what are you doing here, buddy? To levy that against anyone on this property. It's what they're all here for, except for Blake, who takes this very seriously. He was like, hey, if even for a second you think somebody's here that isn't here for the right reasons, you got to tell Becca.
Taking it way too seriously, and we've mentioned it once, we've mentioned it many times. It's the number one rule you can break in Bachelor is be a snitch and talk about
Can't
somebody.
do it.
It's a weakness, it's a red flag, it's desperation.
Yep, and it worked tonight because Chase went home, but Chris will be eliminated in due time, and not because of this, because of his everything else. But we do have to talk about Chase trying to put out this fire before it even gets a blaze.
That did not go well.
It did not go well.
You see her eyes, and she is like, I can't wait to get rid of both of you.
Well, I love how she's like trying to make sense of it. She's like, well, what did she say? And he's like, I don't even know. She's like, well, it's tough for me just because I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. He forces her to stay there and then goes to look for Chris, which seemed like it took quite a while. Told her to hold down the fort. The whole thing was just a disaster. I felt terrible for him.
Can I say this? I would advise both these guys. Of course, you can't help idiots. But I would go like, hey, guys, you're going to ruin each other's shots here. Like, I know you want to destroy this guy, and this guy's trying to do damage control. She's going to hate both of you by the end of the night. What you need to do is shut the fuck up.
Absolutely.
Team up. Start trying to destroy the other people. Buy some Fireball.
Right.
Put it in your back pocket and get the other guys drunk.
Dude thought I was taking shots all night. I was freaking thumbing them.
What a clown. Dumb bully.
Idiot!
But I think it would have been really funny, and I mean, this may be off-putting to some, but if Becca would have completely misconstrued this situation, and like when he went and got the other guy, she thought she was about to get double-teamed, but she was like all into it. She's just like, let's do the damn thing.
That got aggressively dark.
By the way, and that would have
Very
meant,
fast.
If she had uttered that line, that would have been number 7. That would have meant 7 people would have been.
You know what? This is a
eliminated
perfect
from our-
time to talk about this. So, as we talked about last episode, Becca has a catchphrase, and Pat has his own thing. He likes to kick people out of our Facebook group. We've talked about this a lot. If you're a new listener, please do not join the Facebook group because you may be kicked out pretty quickly. Just kidding. JK, jump in there. Maybe you won't be, and then you can have all the fun content and all the community that's there. Anyways, every time she says this phrase, Pat wants to kick somebody out. So how many people are we kicking out of the Facebook group? That is growing exponentially every day.
Technically 6. It was said 6 times on actually real time on the show. Actually, it was said 6 times.
A couple repeats that we didn't count.
There were double repeats that we should not count. So
I felt like we were at 23, but I'll go with 6. I'll go with 6.
Nick wanted blood on that couch. So anyways, Pat is going to carry the heavy burden of kicking out 7 people from this Facebook group. You know how it works? If you have been picked, please write Patrick a note saying nice things about him, and he may let you stay. One of my favorite things we do on this show. Pat, anything to add?
No, that's you pretty much covered it, dude.
Are we doing it tonight?
No. Next time. Next time. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, we need some lead time to get the names.
Oh no!
Oh no! You got
him.
him.
Oh no! I was gonna kick them out tonight.
Sick. Yes. Yes.
Bloodthirsty, both of you guys.
Without further ado, I guess.
Yeah, Pat, I mean, get going, buddy.
Hi, everyone. Last week, there was some confusion about exactly what we're doing here with respect to eliminating some of our loved ones in the Facebook group. To be clear, what we are doing here is what's referred to as a culling. In biology, culling is the process of segregating organisms from a group according to a desired or undesired characteristic. In animal breeding, culling is the process of removing or segregating animals from a breeding stock based on a specific trait. For our purposes here, that trait is unwavering devotion and worship. If your name is called, you have 25 hours to write to me in the comment section of our Facebook group and tell me how great I am. If it meets my standards, you will be allowed to stay and fight another day. I am about to read the names. Once again, if your name is called, you are kicked out of the group.
So it's pretty clear I was wrong. It is not watching your spouse have sex with another.
No.
No, that's cuckolding.
Gotcha.
All right, Abby Johnson. Abby Johnson, you're out. Adam Geich, you're out. Ein Webster, you're out.
Ein Webster.
Alex Durocher, you're out. Alex Treva Devine, you're out. And finally, Allison Kitching, you're out. They said the phrase tonight, let's do the damn thing 6 times. Therefore, we had to sacrifice 6 of you.
There's something interesting. I don't know if you caught this, Dylan.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be random. This could have been a coincidence, just like Becca picking 6 black guys in a row.
5.
But all of those people's names started with A. I fear Patrick may have read
Did
off.
you go ahead and just eliminate all the A's from our group?
I eliminated the people that needed to go.
But you do ensure, just so that the listener knows that it's a process of integrity.
I find that
you didn't just alphabetize it and pick the top ones. This was random.
When your time's up, your time's up.
See, that was a very vague answer. I find it hard to believe it's not what he did because a little peek behind the curtain. Every time he prints out a sheet with all the names of the Facebook group members, he cuts them into little pieces and he pulls them out of the hat. It takes him a growing amount of time,
Right.
near hours.
Yeah.
And I believe he may have skipped a step this week.
I can't confirm or deny, but if your name was called tonight, you're out of the group. You have 25 hours. Normally 24, but I gave you 1 more just to make sure you have enough time. 25 hours, the clock is ticking. Write to me on Facebook. Tell me how great I am. And if it meets my standards, you will be allowed to stay. Mm-hmm.
It's madness, but I love it.
It's madness, but I don't.
That was fun.
That was a great time. Next up is Jacob, who's an interesting character. This is the person that she had known from the past.
They were in the same circle.
They were in the same circle, and you know, she doesn't know if he's there for
The right reasons.
the right reasons. So she confronts him about this and says, you know, we hung out a couple times. You didn't make any advances. Why are you here? Are you here for the right reasons? And his argument is a confusing one. He says, I don't even recall meeting you the first couple times.
All right. Can I say this? I have a few thoughts on this mainly. First off, I think he's a douchebag because anyone that refers to themselves having a transformative year is
Agreed.
a complete douchebag. The other thing I want to say is this is my overall feel of this. They kind of hooked up in the past.
No.
Yes. They meant they had a night together,
No.
like it was kind of connecting. She's mad at him. Why else would she be
Absolutely
like,
not.
get the fuck out of here? They had some kind of thing where they exchanged numbers. He didn't call her. They made out one night at a Christmas party. Really?
No.
Okay.
I feel like she just wasn't. She never thought of him as attractive
Ever.
as a prospect in
Ever.
any way, shape, or form. They say you decide within 6 seconds if you want to bang someone, and she decided no on old.
On old Jacob. Or
Jacob.
Jake, for sure. Listen, it's strange because he doubles down when she says, like, you got to go. He's like, listen, are you aware that I don't recall any time meeting you? Like, the first couple times I have no recollection. Are you aware of that?
The whole thing was very weird. Like my gears were just turning, trying to figure it out. I thought it meant he possibly got sober. He had a transformative year.
Absolutely.
He was blacked out.
That's exactly what it means. I wrote that down. It sounds like he went through AA.
Well, he's not following the program very well because he's like, if I saw you at a bar and relapse, I'd be all over you.
That would be his 8th step.
Yeah, to add to the confusion, he says, if we were at a bar, I think things would end a lot differently now. And she's like, no, they wouldn't. But
you'd be going home and I'd be going back in there with 27 other dudes.
I don't know if he was referring to the fact that the new him wouldn't go into said bar and start ripping bottles off the wall. I don't know if he was talking about that, but I don't think his sobriety's going that well because he sounds like he's had a couple pops. I think that we got as much as we could out of this guy, and see you later. Now, let's get on to my pick to win this entire competition.
Mulligan.
Very, very concerned about Colton, and I don't think that you guys know exactly why I'm concerned about him. Because did he raise any red flags for you guys?
Yeah, he did to me.
What were those red flags?
I don't like he leans too much on things that look, you guys busted my balls on the preview episode of this. Like, I know he has, is it his sister that
Nope.
has, who is it? Who is it?
He is a dead son.
He has a dead son. No, he doesn't.
I am not going to bury my son.
No.
My son is going to bury me.
Shut up, both of you. I don't like someone who leans too much on them taking care of family members and volunteering and owning a dog that they like to jerk off. I do not like that. This guy is like too perfect, or at least that's what he's trying to put out there. I'm not buying it.
Now, see, I'm kind of in tow with you. I don't mind people touting their volunteer work and stuff, but I'm concerned that this man is an extreme narcissist because the way that he floated this boasting about these heroic feats that he's doing, he said, I started a nonprofit. I'm going to every state. I'm giving away a vest to a kid in every state. Heroes don't talk like this. Heroes are anonymous.
And a vest? A vest? How about lungs? How about maybe that would save these kids in some
Tall
states
order.
and
I don't
states.
think you know enough about cystic fibrosis. But
It's a lung transplant. I
what, you want him to carry around lungs? Pick up some loose lungs?
the point is a vest does nothing for these dying children.
It's not true.
I think
true
the
at
point is he brags too much about all the shit he's doing.
Absolutely
Fuck you, Colton.
brags too much about it.
Why are you on this show, asshole? You should be spending your time doing more goody-goody dudes.
Now, I was very concerned at first, and then the package for the rest of the season rolled. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but his entire story seems to be anchored to his virginity. And he's talking to Chris Harrison about being intimate with Becca. Why would they even have that conversation if he's not in Fantasy Suites? Why would ABC even put that in this package? Because it is so easy to pick up on, and it is a dead spoiler. And I realize that I'm going to be eating my words, and I'm going to look like a real stupid idiot if he goes home before Fantasy Suites. But I doubt that's going to happen.
Okay, Garrett. Garrett, I think he's going to have a hometown.
Yep.
She notes that she would love to see his family at some point during their little exchange. She said Garrett reminds her of home. So
Yep.
I think he's definitely in.
The hunting, the fishing, the hick.
We've been talking about this boring shit. Can we get to the rose ceremony? Can we get rid of some
Let's
of these
get
idiots?
to it. First impression, Rose, before we get there, goes to Garrett.
Knew that one was coming.
He's safe. We all knew it was coming. Everyone in the room, we all surveyed one another, and we all said in unison, Garrett.
Can I ask you, Dylan, why did you say that?
I just, like I just very rudely said not a couple seconds ago, they're both hicks. They're simpletons. They're both.
I thought it was the minivan, and then women like to know about their future you're going to have with a dude, and by him pulling up in the minivan with the soccer ball in it, that pretty much sold her ass.
Something about Becca, your darling wife, Cherie, pointed out that tattoo on the hand. That's the new tramp stamp. That's the most basic bitch thing you can do. Get a cross on your fucking hand.
And let Dylan reiterate, this was originally said by Patrick's darling wife, Cherie, a woman. Yeah. He was just reiterating her words. But yes, this generation...
I would never speak that disparagingly about women.
About that tattoo being a tramp stamp and a sign that you're a huge whore.
You're a basic bitch, yeah. Anyways, let's get into the rose ceremony. Guys, something strange happens. When we're doling out the roses, a stretch of like 5 black guys get called.
To ignore it would be ignorant, I think. A legendary run.
A legendary, the likes of which this show has never seen before. One after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. Nick pointed out, hilariously so, I might add, my friend, that this was like a sketch. That was just like a sketch about white guys being extremely uncomfortable in a rose ceremony.
And feeling inferior.
What the fuck is going on? It was so funny that they went from all those black guys getting called to the whitest guy there. Connor?
I was actually on the edge of my seat on which one you were going to don the whitest guy there, because there is some white bread guys there.
Yeah. I think he's pretty white, but there are some white bread guys there.
Hey guys, just so the audience, they love the names we give these people, and by that I mean they love the names I give them,
right?
So we can attach a name to a face for the rest of the season.
You do have a knack for it.
So this is a pretty easy one. Her first pick is the Nigerian. That's the guy who calls old people.
That's your name?
Well, he's from Nigeria, so he's the Nigerian.
Okay,
that's a guy who's an accent that we don't know where it comes from, but he's born in Nigeria. So he's the first one out. Next guy, second up, he's a white guy. The Magician. He's the guy with the purple suit, looks like he works like a bad casino that's run down in the smaller room in the casino. Put the name to the face, you'll get it later. Third guy, Ricky, black guy. Christine, black guy. Clay, that's a nice football player who has no game. By the way, all right, so let me talk about Clay for a second again. Clay, playing in the league for 9 years, he bounced off 4 professional football teams, still has a weird inflection in his voice, nervous around women, either emasculated, gay, didn't really play in the NFL Football League, or he does not work well around women. Something's really off there.
Are you talking about the NFLFL?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, let me move on. Will, or should I say Wills? I'm really troubled by that name. He's trouble. and now we have a white guy. That's Connor, but that's J.J. Lane's doppelganger. Dylan, we know how you feel about him.
Yep.
Then we have next up, I call him Scott Baio. But Nick, you and Dylan fought me on this. The doppelganger was who?
Andrew Keegan, who played the douchebag in 10 Things I Hate About You, the classic early 2000s high school.
Rest in peace.
Heath Ledger. Next up, the token Asian guy is named Sean. Then we have Alex.
I think his name's John.
Oh, it's not Sean?
I think it's John.
I'll check on that. Let me go back to my notes. Nick the lawyer, Colton, the guy in the chicken suit, Jordan, the guy who's the gay fashion guy, Leo, the long-haired guy that looks like Fabio with the beard that's dyed way too dark for his beard, the other long-haired guy who keeps it in a ponytail, blonde-haired, and then Chris, who looks like a rat, who was ratting on that other guy who's still around.
Now, listen, I was going to call for a roll call, but you pretty much just blasted through everybody. I mean, I this is where Leo kind of makes me pissed off. He's like a goth. He's like a freaking goth kid, you know? He's like, if the guy in the chicken costume gets a rose before me, I'm going to not know what's going on with this universe.
By that he means his universe. Narcissist asshole.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you guys caught it. It looked like his face when he got his rose. He even seemed troubled to have to step off the podium. Everything irks him.
By the way, he falls off a ladder at his next gig. He's going to collect workers' comp till he's like into his 80s, this piece of shit.
He's a big buzzkill. Can I ask for a roll call, though? Who goes home?
Oh, that I don't know. Everyone aside from the person I just, everyone I just...
Okay, well, I do know one person who goes home, Joe, the grocer. The green grocer. Makes me so sad that he's gone. I think he could have been great for her. She also eliminates Chase, who at this point is reduced to rubble, and I just feel horrible for him. Dumb guy, but to be cast out of the house over some hearsay, worry about you being there for the quote unquote right reasons. Is just ridiculous. And then finally, the Polish guy who told Becca, "Bitch, come over here." Was that what he said? That guy is gone as well.
She did not like that move. Actually, if you rewatch that footage, when he walks in the house, she's like basically like, "He's out of here."
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. Good.
Yep.
It's your show, baby.
Yep.
Can I get back to Joe for a second? That guy would have been a great fit for her. That's the guy you want.
Fit.
A blue-collar worker. He'll love you to death. He seems like he's got his shit together. He's okay with admitting, I work in a grocery store. These other idiots have jobs. Like, one of these idiots had, like, social media
participant. Oh, you mean you have a Facebook? Listen, Joe is the kind of guy who, when you're on your 4th, 5th kid, on any given Wednesday, he'll just pop in and be like, "Hey, I got pizzas for everybody." Sad to see him go.
Look, I got watermelon pizza.
It's soupy. All right. You know what rhymes with soupy? Loopy. That's what we are. It's too late. We got to get going. Before we do, we wanted to say thank you for listening to this here show. We do it for you. And also, if you could continue the participation and the communication with us people on the Facebook group, that would be wonderful. Also, follow us on the Instagram, which is
Add Another Bachelor Podcast.
Nick's doing great, hilarious stuff over there. Also, please remember to write in to the iTunes ratings and reviews. Write-in's probably not the correct terminology, but just drop 5 stars and then say nice things about us. That would be wonderful. Also, if you are one of the sad souls that Pat has chosen to kick out of the group, please keep in touch with the Facebook group. People will let you know that you're about to get kicked out, and then write Pat. That's it for me. I'm saying goodbye. My name's Dylan. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
Hold on. This is so cold. I just want to say, I want to end the show this way. We are ready to give you our all this season. And we are so happy you're back for season 3 of Another Bachelor Podcast. I love you. Keep listening.